Hey, y'all. Let's do that again. Hey, y'all. Happy Monday. Hey, you're going to have to put up with me just a little bit today. The last several days, I've had the flu of all things. Sorry, Trent. But
yeah, I missed it somehow. I didn't get sick.
Yeah, it started with my grandkids. Doggone those grandkids, I swear. It started with Bexley, went to Brixton, then went to Rebecca, my wife, and of course it had to land on me. I spent about 36 hours in bed, literally, and for me, that's just like, I just despise, I just couldn't do it though.
He doesn't nap, he doesn't lay in bed. It was rough. Wild. I've never seen him like that.
Yesterday, I thought I was going to do a little bit better in the morning, and then about 10, 11 o'clock, I just crashed out for another 2-3 hours, and the rest of the day was lethargic. Today, a little bit better. You have to put up with me, though. My voice is a little bit impacted, but I'm on the rise, brother, and the beat goes on. That's what we do because we are.
Oh, SLB, yeah.
There you go.
There
you go.
What better time to talk a bunch of smack about Buffalo Trace when we're sick? When you're sick, we're not going to talk smack about Buffalo Trace. I don't. This was kind of your brainchild of an idea.
Yeah, I do have a lot of people that message me via Instagram, Facebook, whatever the case may be, that ask us simply and nicely, why do we not focus on Buffalo Trace more?
Yeah,
it doesn't seem like we add it into our videos very often, and we don't do that intentionally. That's the honest to God's truth. Well, you might. No, we don't really. It just happens that way. I think primarily is because a lot of the bottles are hard to come by.
Almost all of them.
And we prefer to spend our time dealing with, for the most part, dealing with bottles that folks can come by a little bit easier. But today we're going to change that. We're going to deal with as many Buffalo Trace bottles that we have. We're going to go the quick and easy. We're going to slide them through, give our opinions, what we feel about it, price points, whole show. Nothing but Buffalo Trace. We'll start right off the bat, Trent. The regular release, Buffalo Trace 90 proof. In my personal opinion, if you can get it for the right price, I can still find it in my area for a little less than $30, around that $27, $28 mark. Usually when it comes into town, I'll buy two because I won't see it again for a while. Here lately, though, I'm seeing it a little bit more often.
Yeah.
It's a great bottle to have in your collection because I think it does have some nice sweetness in there. It's 90 proof. It's approachable. It's good to share with others that might come to your home that aren't really into bourbon. That'd be a good one to start with, a good one to share.
Yeah, I mean it's really versatile too. Not only for the price. I think this is one of the more better, if that's even a word, like a phrase. I don't think that's proper English. Sorry, Robert. I don't know of many other bottles that can be this versatile. I mean, you can mix with. I mean, Absolutely. You can mix with anything.
Yeah.
But in terms of what this offers to a cocktailer, how much this kind of appeals to a broad audience of people, and that's what I think Buffalo Trace is kind of known for. Is their sweet stuff. They appeal to a lot of people.
Absolutely.
It's hard to go wrong with really any Buffalo Trace product. The kicker with this and with anything is going to be the price in the secondary market. Correct. Luckily, we were able to find this in our area a little bit more than a couple years ago. Yeah, but I like this.
Let's just get this out of the way right off the bat. Buffalo Trace is an extremely popular distillery for a reason.
Yeah.
They're very good. All of their offerings are above par. I don't know if I've ever tasted a Buffalo Trace where I said, oh, that's just no good at all. I don't know if I have, to be honest with you. But
Jay's Stag Store Pick did not taste like a Buffalo Trace product.
That's different, though, because that's a single barrel selection made by somebody.
Yeah.
I think that was Benny's pick, wasn't it? Yeah. So I don't really rule that in. But, they're very popular for a reason. A lot of their profiles are somewhat sweet to the palate and everything. So I get it. The next bottle I like to show for you, if I actually had one, is an Eagle Rare. I know you folks might think we have everything. That's not the case. I did have one bottle of Eagle Rare that I've had here for almost 2 years, and I loved it.
I thought it was longer than that.
It was great. It was a great bottle. I don't have one. I asked Trent to bring his. Guess what?
I don't have one either. Your bottle of Eagle Rare was probably the best non-store pick bottle of Eagle Rare I've ever had. I've been trying to find some from that era, too, because I wanted to do a little comparison to the one that I thought I had. Turns out I must have given that away or something. I gave that to Colin. He really likes Eagle Rare.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's something that, because it's a single barrel, is going to vary very, very differently bottle by bottle. I've had some Eagle Rares like yours that I think are fantastic, and I've had some that are just like, I'd honestly rather have that. But it just depends on the barrel you get, or the bottle you get.
Yeah, so it's another one at the price point. If you can get it for that $40. I'm gonna give it.
Yeah.
When I bought that one, it was like in the 30s, 35, 38.
I remember getting
I'm sure
it
it's
for
probably not that now.
$32.99.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
For a 10-year, solid.
If you can get that $40, $45 range, Eagle Rare, solid buy in my opinion. Your turn.
Oh, this one. Well, we also don't have a regular Blanton, so I pulled this Blanton's Gold out of the center console of my vehicle. And the cap was it's been like 90s here the last couple weeks, and I honestly forgot that it was in my car. So the cork was getting ready to bust off, and I'm glad it didn't because it would have spilled over everything in my center console. Car would have smelled great, but this and regular Blantons are really they're solid. Mm-hmm. If you can get them for, I don't know what MSRP is now, $60, $65, $69.99, whatever the MSRP is.
I think it's closer to $70 now.
And everything's gone up a little bit over the last couple of years, as you guys may or may not know, but I usually pass on a Blanton's if I have one already. And it's something that when I run out of it, I'm not going to go push my grandma out or camp out in front of a store to get. I think it's a solid bottle for $65, $70, but I'm not collecting them anymore. I'm not like hoarding them for trading anything or anything like that. It's a solid bottle. Again, single barrel. So depending on the batch or the blend, or not the batch, the barrel, whatever, it's going to be different bottle by bottle.
It's an iconic bottle. Obviously, guys, it's a grenade bottle, a little horsey on top. It's a great bottle to have in a collection, and the juice is actually fairly good. It's never really done that well for us as far as blinds are concerned, but the juice is pretty decent. And if you get it for that $70 range, who wouldn't want one on the shelf? Let's just be honest, So
and get a little creative. Age it in your vehicle. Age it outside by a garbage can, something.
Stop.
The Blanton's Gold is okay too. It's like $120, $150. I wouldn't personally go out and buy another one once this is done, but
all right. I want to move on, but I'm going to pull out all of my E.H. Taylor bottles, pal. So I've got the small batch.
You have more than I do of the E.H.
The single barrel, the straight rye, and I finally,
that's a straight rye right there.
Oh, my bad. Straight rye, and I finally was able to get a barrel proof now. This is the very first E.H. Taylor barrel proof that I have ever had in the basement bourbon bar, and it only came by a couple months ago. So that'll tell you that as well. Another collection from Buffalo Trace that I truly enjoy.
Oh, you like this one? Okay.
Oh, I do. Yeah, I do. I like the small batch. I like my single barrel. I love the rye. It's a little bit candyish. I know we don't have really the same opinion on that, but Trenton is a traditional rye whiskey lover, which I'm not quite as much as he is, so that's not surprising. We also differ a little bit on the barrel proofs. I think in general, I like the barrel proof a little bit more than you do, but I obviously haven't tasted many different batches.
There's a couple batches, and they all vary by batch. I mean, I think batch 9 or 10. It's one of the less highly regarded batches from the barrel proof lineup, and that's just I paid $69.99 for it, MSRP. I was really excited when I got it. I opened it and I was like, this is fine. I've had better barrel proofs though. With the straight rye, I think it's really solid. I wouldn't pass it up for MSRP, maybe plus or minus $20, $30 for it. My only thing is that since it says a straight rye, when I drink it, I expect it to have like a rye spice, but it's really more sweet. This would be a fantastic bottle to get people into rye. Because if you're sensitive to rye too, I think this still has some, but like that Buffalo Trace sweet candy-ish sweetness overpowers it a bit.
Definitely.
But there's nothing wrong with it. And the small batch is my favorite of the E.H. Taylor. And I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad. Because
I can't blame you
I can get it maybe once or twice a year.
So what about the cost? Now, I've had some folks tell me they're now paying in the $50 range for the small batch.
I haven't seen a small batch in so long, I don't even know what it goes for.
I wouldn't either. Folks, let us know in the comments what you're paying, because all these except for this one I bought a couple years ago. So I just had this conversation on Message a couple days ago, like $56 or $58 small batch.
Wish it was more in the 40s.
So I do too. It is good.
I like the small batch.
It is very good. And, things change, and that's just life. But in general, I do love that collection.
Yeah. Well, next up we got the the Wellers, and the Wellers, if you're not familiar, is a wheated bourbon, also coming out of Buffalo Trace. Some of these fetch a very high premium on secondary, much like pretty much anything from Buffalo Trace. But I think the standard Weller Special Reserve, you can get, if you live in Ohio, these are like abundant. It's wild how much Weller.
I know you folks in Ohio, man. I swear.
Sometimes I want to move there because the Weller Special Reserve and the Weller Antique are somewhat common in Ohio for MSRP, and since it's state controlled,
that's where I got that one.
Oh, is it really?
Somebody in Ohio helped me out.
That's awesome. Weller Antique is one of my is definitely my favorite Weller product. I think it's fantastic. The proof is really nice on it. From a secondary perspective, they're going for like $90, which if I'm in a pinch and I really want one, I'm not gonna lie, I would pay close to secondary for a Weller Antique.
All right.
Compared to something like, a Weller 12, which I think is very, very overrated. I know some people that love it. The proof for me, along with that age statement in the oak, is a little bit too much for me. So I don't really love Weller 12 too much. And the Weller Full Proof is probably my third favorite. That CYPB was fantastic. We don't have the CYPB with us. We stole Jay's.
Yeah, it was
CYPB.
Jay's. We don't have one.
And then the Weller Single Barrel is, I've heard Weller Special Reserve in single barrel form, and it goes for like $600 on secondary, something like that.
No.
Not worth it. I think it's okay.
No.
But I like Weller. I like weeded bourbon, so this kind of speaks to me a little bit more. And this one having a little bit higher proof compared to, even though this is higher proof, this kind of did it for me a little bit more.
And I don't blame you. I'd have to agree with Trenton. I do believe the Antique 107 is my favorite of the group too. That might shock you a little bit.
It
because
does, actually.
Unlike Trenton, I also do like the full proof quite a bit.
And you have this fancy Wolfgang Puck.
I know. I don't have a regular full proof.
Ago.
I just have that single barrel. That's all I have. I do believe that this Special Reserve is a fantastic budget type purchase if you can get it for that price in that middle $30 range. And I agree with Trenton wholeheartedly. Weller 12 has never done well for us in blinds, and I just don't see it.
Yeah.
It just doesn't vibe for me, and it's not something I would never pay overpriced for. Nope. That's for sure.
Me neither.
Yeah.
The MSRP on these are fantastic. This is like $44. If you can get it for
$50,
solid.
Okay.
But
okay.
Not my speed either at MSRP.
No. All right, next one, guys. Stag Junior, however you want to refer to it as.
There you go.
They got Stag everywhere on these things. I don't know which way to turn it.
I get it confused sometimes too.
I'm going to try to make sure I convey myself properly, but I think in general, this might be my favorite release from Buffalo Trace.
Their Stags are awesome.
If you get it at $65 range, it's probably $70 now, whatever it is. I only have 2 left. I had 4 or 5. I did take a few to different bourbon bottle shares just because I know folks have a hard time getting these or finding these. So I did share a couple of mine till they were gone. But I have on the shelf over there, I have original Stag Junior. I don't think that's this one yet. And I have one of these where they dropped the Junior off the name, and that's all I have left.
They grew up.
But I tell you what, this stuff is... I know we can nitpick, we can split hairs, we can talk about different batches, we can see which batch is the best. Okay, all of them in general, though, are pretty fantastic. They really are.
Minus a couple iffy store picks. I've never had a Stag Junior that I haven't liked. They are all different than previous batches, new batches, old batches, whatever the case may be. But Stag Junior is one of the more consistent, really solid products coming out of Buffalo Trace. And the MSRP is nice when you can find it.
Yep.
I know that's not always common. Dude, they're in Arizona. There was a Walmart that dropped like 200 Stag Juniors at MSRP, like no limit. Or maybe there was a limit, but they were dropping Stag Junior in Arizona on Walmart like a couple months ago. It was nuts. There was just like shelf from top to bottom was just Weller.
I haven't seen a Stag Junior Trenton for a year.
I haven't either. I don't know what's happening in Indiana. Maybe Walmart's taking them all. I don't know. Come on, Walmart.
Come on, Walmart. We got Walmart up here too. Come on now.
Maybe we should go to Walmart more.
I think we should.
Man.
I think we should. You want me to go over here first?
Yeah.
All right, guys. This is the only bottles that we have.
Technically, we have an Eagle Rare.
Well, I guess we do. These are the only 2 bottles that Trent and I own in the Buffalo Antique collection. Again, people would think we have them all. Not the case. We really can only get like one of these a year.
Yeah, I do have a Thomas Handy. I forgot at home.
Oh, you have a Handy?
I do. I'm nursing it. There's like that much left.
Is it really?
I got it 3 years ago. I don't want to let it go.
I absolutely don't blame you. Trenton was gracious to me and let me pick last year. And you know how I roll. I got the one that had the least proof. So I got the Eagle Rare 17. And I absolutely love it. And let me just say this, in my humble opinion, when it comes to bourbon, the limited and special releases, I truly believe the Buffalo Antique Collection and what I've been able to taste is the pinnacle. It's the peak of the mountain. It's the best of the best. Yeah. That's my personal opinion. The only one that I haven't tasted is the Sazerac. I've never tasted the
either.
Sazerac. I have tastes of the other ones. These two in general, absolutely superb. And we're talking, $130 to $150 if you can get it close to MSRP. I'll be honest with you, I'd probably pay $300 a bottle for these because they're that good, and I'd keep them for several years and enjoy them occasionally, on special times or with good friends or whatever the case may be. But I really would never pay $1,000, $1,500. Those days are over for me, and I can't tell you what to do. You're the consumer. You're the one buying it. We will never judge you for what you pay. Trust me, on the very first George T. Stagg that I had, that I emptied, I paid $700 for that bottle.
Yeah.
So I've been there. I've done that. I'm just not going to do that anymore. But love these. Love the antique collection. I think it's just dynamite.
Yeah, I think too, just in my opinion, I've had WLW a couple times from folks that have either given samples or we've traded samples or whatever. I think peak George T. Stagg is better than peak WLW.
Wow.
Hot take.
Wow.
And even on secondary, like the William LaRue Wellers go for double Stagg.
All right.
But
yeah,
I don't know. Dude, that Stagg Junior from last year, or this not Stagg Junior, Stagg from last year.
All right, well, Trent, you're going to bring out what you're going to bring out, and then at the end, we're going to...
Put these on your side.
We are going to give you our last...
You can put those... You got room on the side. Yep.
We're going to give you our last hot takes on Buffalo Trace.
Who's going?
This is you, baby. This is stuff you have at your house.
If given the choice between a antique collection and a Pappy, I would choose BTAC, Buffalo Trace Antique Collection, night and day, all day.
No question.
In my opinion, I think Pappies are really solid. Again, they are very overhyped. We've been fortunate enough to try samples of like a 20-year and a 23-year. I think those are a little bit over-oaked, in my opinion, and they go for a ridiculous amount on the secondary market. I don't know. I think even the Lot B is not my favorite. If I was going to pick anything from the Van Winkle lineup, I'd go 10 and the 15. Mm-hmm. I think those are the best ones. The proof is 107 on both. I think if the other ones, like a Lot B, had a 107 proof, and then you had the Pappy 20 and the 23 at a little bit of higher proof, I know that they're most likely doing that to get more yield by watering it down a little bit. But if you have the 10 and the 15 that are very well regarded as a 107 proof, and then you have the others at like a 90, I wish they were just all the same. I think that would help out the age and the oak that comes with the age for the 20 and the 23. We tried a sample of the rye. The rye was very good, but I can't speak on it too much. But yeah, I mean, Pappy is the most overhyped product coming out of Buffalo Trace. I think their BTAC collection far supersedes that in both quality and just the dynamic flavor profiles of each. But
I agree.
We are fortunate enough to be able to nitpick about these very premium things. So take what we're saying with a grain of salt.
Yep.
But that's my take. Probably a hot take. But
my take on Pappies is trophy bottles. That's all it is. That's my opinion. If you got if somebody has, you see it on Instagram all the time. You see these things. You got Pappy 20s and 23s sitting up on the shelf, not even open. They're just trophy bottles. People are paying a lot of money because they have one. As Trenton mentioned, we were able to taste samples of the 23 and 20. I wasn't fond of either one of them. Just me. This is just me. So please don't take it any other way.
Let it rip.
It's just me. I don't care if I found a Pappy 20 or 23 for MSRP. I wouldn't purchase it.
Really?
That's just me.
I would for MSRP.
No, that's you. I just, because I open my bottles. I drink them.
Yeah.
And what's MSRP? It's got to be, $300 or something? I don't even know what it is. I have no clue.
Like 200 something.
To me, it's not worth it to me.
Yeah.
I just don't like them. I do believe that this Pappy 15 is very good. If I see this one for around the Pappy 15, wherever's that for close to that, the 10 year is fantastic. This Lot 12B or whatever is just okay.
This is the bottle, 3 years ago that I camped out in the parking lot for a week. And I worked from my car.
That's right.
And I stood outside for a couple hours. It was like -10 outside, and I was the only person there, but I did it anyways.
Right.
Just for the experience,
Sure.
I love the bottle. I think it's solid. I paid $89.99 for it. I would do that all day long for
all day, and I'd almost pay. I'd pay a little bit more for that as well.
Oh yeah.
I do feel though, and I will pound this point home. The Buffalo Antique Collection to me is by far better than the Pappy stuff. It's fantastic. So, in closing, let me just say this. As we spoke about here, we are very fond of most all of the juice that comes out of Buffalo Trace, are we not?
Oh yeah, this is tough love up here.
It's great stuff. It's great stuff. What bothers me to the core is that pretty much everything I'm looking at right now, is hard to find for most everybody.
Yep.
That bothers me more than anything. It just rips me apart. There's not one bottle that we own that is easy to come by.
And we didn't include things up like Elmer T. Lee. We don't have a Rock Hill Farm. We're like, there's a couple other products
from Elmer T. Lee. I forgot all about that. There's one back there somewhere.
It's one of those things that even the things that we didn't include, like Elmer T. Lee, Rock Hill, those are also hard to find.
Yeah, Rock Hill Farms. I don't know. I've never had one. Never had one. So that's what bothers me. Hopefully that'll change. I know there's been a lot of debate, a lot of discussions. They're growing their warehouses. There's a lot of things going on. Okay, we'll see.
I hope that's true.
I have personal feelings. Otherwise, I think the hype is generated. That's just what I think.
You're coming out spicy.
I just, why? Why can't I have one bottle? Why can't I have one bottle that I can come by all the time? Why?
Well, recently that. But yeah, I agree. Anything other than regular Buffalo Trace.
I'll bet you $100 if I go to Wise Guys, not Harry's. I don't know what he's got, but if I go to Wise Guys in Valparaiso tomorrow morning, I'll bet you $100 there's not a Buffalo Trace there.
Oh, absolutely not.
No.
So, Harry's maybe, but Wise Guys, any other liquor store in the area? No, absolutely not.
It just me. I think some of these should be made more like if I could walk in the store and find an E.H. Taylor small batch, a Buffalo Trace, we're not even going to say the blends.
One of these?
Yep. The Weller Special Reserve. Okay.
Eagle Rare 10, something.
Eagle Rare 10 year. If I could find those on the shelf more than not, I'd keep my mouth shut and not say a word. But all I can do is speak for what we have in our area, and in our area, it doesn't happen.
Yeah,
so I don't think about it. It's not in my brain. I just take it out. Buffalo Trace.
Yeah, that's cost, and just the able to get itness. What's availability? That's the word. Is just not there. So it's hard to talk about stuff that people can never get, or they can only hope to get, or they have to pay an arm and a leg to get. Mm-hmm. So we like Buffalo Trace. We have nothing against Buffalo Trace's products. We think they're very good. Mm-hmm. It's just from a, hey, if we're recommending a product from Buffalo Trace, of course we're going to recommend a product from Buffalo Trace. But can you go out and get one of the products that we would recommend from Buffalo Trace? Unfortunately, not at this point in time. Maybe, hopefully, in the future. Like when the Pappies were sitting on, Pappy 23s were sitting on the shelf and they had to do specials on them.
Yeah.
Maybe one day, but right now, that's a big fat no.
Yep. Let's hope so. All right, guys. That's all I have for you today. Thank you for putting up with me. I know my voice is all over the place, but I'm feeling better. I'm going to be all right. Yeah, give me a few more days. I'm going to be 100%. I'll guarantee you that. So.
Oh, we have a live stream this Friday. I almost forgot to mention. We don't know what we're doing yet. I had no idea. So keep an eye out for that. That'll be fun. This Friday at 8 p.m.
Yeah, last few days I haven't been thinking about much, to tell you the truth.
I haven't either.
Yeah. All right, guys. As always, we ask you to please drink responsibly. See you next time right down here with Trent and me in the good old basement bourbon bar. See you later.